That's where we're going to start with God and values. So one of the things that we do all the time, usually without thinking it, is to make value judgments. Well, you're just too judgy. Yeah. Yes, everyone is too judgy.
Too judgmental.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are all judgy, whether we like it or not. We'll think or say that something is good or bad. In extreme cases, we'll even use concepts like perfect. That person is perfect for me. Or that painting is just the perfect representation of classicalism. Or something.
Yeah.
Or evil. And of course, we in the past 4 years, we haven't heard anything about anything evil or comparison to anything evil. So it's just been hunky-dory recently. So sometimes these judgments are clearly subjective in the sense that depends on your own personal tastes or preferences. Like, I cannot stand Werners. I know a Michigander can't stand Werners. I'm kicked out of the state, but you know what, at this point, Werners. Is evil to me.
Well, unfortunately, Patrick, that is a personal taste or preference. Yeah, that's not what we're talking about here in this particular section of this chapter.
Okay.
Right? Not all value judgments are subjective and person relative, in that way. Some are objective value judgments in the sense that, something like when we make those judgments, we're saying that something is good or bad regardless of what anyone's personal taste is or their preferences or what they think. Right. That's what we're getting at here. Those types of value judgments that are not person related. Yeah. Right.
So the serial killer can have the preference for killing cereal. Yeah. I'm assuming Count Chocula and Lucky Charms.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure that's what that means.
That's right.
But
Cocoa Puffs.
But we could say the things that he is doing is evil, regardless of him believing opposite.
Right. So when you kill Count Dracula and Captain Crunch, right? Those are evil, right? Or how about this? The discovery of antibiotics, right? Antibiotics is, we say, is a good thing, right? And we say the Holocaust is a bad thing, right?
We just don't mean, I prefer not to. The Holocaust, I prefer not to. Penicillin, you know what? I could give or take.
Right? So indeed, we would even probably say the Holocaust was a supreme evil thing. No thinking person, our author tells us, really believes that, these value judgments are merely matters of personal taste or cultural preference, right? I mean, the Holocaust was bad. Regardless of culture or personal taste. Yeah. Right? It was just evil, period, universally speaking.
And as part of our zeitgeist now, it is cemented as that kind of, at least it's not the Holocaust. That's what we're always comparing it, even though there have been things that have happened that are way worse as terms of bodies or torture experiments or what have you. But, it still sits in our mind that this is going on in the Western world and not some backwater area with the height of a superpower that fell after World War I, rose again, and now carried this out. Yeah, okay, Hitler was a bad guy, but then,
so was Pol Pot.
Right.
So was,
Mussolini.
Germany. Yeah. I mean, Russia and China.
Right.
I mean, we could go on and on. 20th century was really a bad time for things happening, being bad.
I mean, you had cultural revolution. I mean, granted, once people thought of World War and then a second one and then the nuclear age, I mean, it just piled on people. And so,
some folks have estimated that over 100 million people were killed during the 20th century. Right? That's a lot of people.
We can do it more efficiently.
The Holocaust was extremely evil. It was bad, but there has been, and there are lots of bad things, right?
And so when you have people in position of power, they might say, oh, what we need is the next, bubonic plague to come in and wipe people out because there's just too many people. Can we say that's good? Can we say that's bad? Yeah. What standing do we have to say it's good
so
or bad?
How do we make those types of judgments, right?
So now what does this have to do with the existence of God? Okay. Here's the argument. Any objective value judgment presupposes, means that it takes for granted, some objective standard or criterion of judgment, some objective standard of goodness by which things can be judged.
So in order to say something is bad, we have to have a standard that we're judging it by, right? And say, based on this, it's bad. We just can't say something, right? Yeah. So we have to have a standard. So whenever those value judgments presuppose a particular objective standard.
Right. So I draw a circle. It's perfect circle. and you draw a square, and I say, which one is the better circle? Well, yours with the sides. Yeah. I'm sorry, it doesn't make the cut.
Right.
Mine tries to get as close to that objective standard of a circle, something without sides. Now, granted, I am going to be even more flawed because it's not perfect. It's not drawn by a robot or something along those lines that can get to the micron. The shift of the Earth's axis is off even for that. But we still have this objective standard that we're trying to meet and compare it to.
Right.
And so how does that involve God? But what's more is that the standard has to be also independent of us. It's not just, I drew a circle, therefore you have to match my circle for it to be a perfect circle. Right. Well, no, that's not what a perfect circle is, because we don't factor into the definition of a circle at all.
Right. So for instance, let's go back to the Holocaust, right? Well, Hitler might have thought that was good, right? Sure. Everybody else thinks it's evil. So, we have to have an objective standards that goes beyond what individuals think, right? Or even cultures think, in order to say that it's truly objective, right? It has to be this independent of us, our personal values, and cultural and social values.
Right.
That's the idea of objectivity.
Right.